Hey, what's up guys? My name is Darren. Welcome back to another video. Now, I'm pretty sure there are plenty of us that would really want to buy and drive an electric vehicle. I mean, they look really cool. They have some pretty dope tech inside. And honestly, when you drive one, you're doing your part to save the world from greenhouse emissions. However, I do think that there are at least 3 different things that may keep people, including myself, pretty skeptical about buying an electric vehicle. And I personally think that those 3 things have everything to do with one thing: the battery. The other day, a friend of mine actually introduced me to a new company called Solid Power, which recently entered the stock market via reverse merger, via SPAC, or special purpose acquisition company. And honestly guys, really honestly, I think that they may have the potential to solve all 3 of these concerns and potentially save electric vehicles in the future. But before we get into why I believe that and the technology behind that belief from Solid Power, we have to understand the battery behind the electric vehicles currently out there, which are lithium ion batteries. So all batteries consist of an anode and a cathode, which are your positive and your negative ends of a battery. And in the middle, there's an electrolyte, which is a substance that produces an electrically conducting solution when dissolved in a polar solvent like water. There's also electrons in the battery, and they move from left to right on each side of the battery through the electrolyte. Now, based off the direction those electrons move, determines if the battery is actually building a charge, which means it's charging, or it's losing a charge, which means it's being applied to whatever technology it's connected to. Now, the electrolyte of a lithium ion battery is actually a liquid, which at this point has become the standard for a lot of electronics, ranging from laptops to smartphones and to, yes, electric vehicles. But lithium ion batteries have been out for a long period of time, and that just happens to be enough time for scientists and other people to discover flaws with the battery. Therefore, other companies like Solid Power exist. Now, there's only a couple of flaws that I want to focus on, but they're really important, and they surround the fact that the electrolyte inside of a lithium ion battery is a liquid. For one, it being a liquid inside of moving electronics inside of a battery makes it unstable to extreme temperatures. So very hot temperatures and very cold temperatures. If it happens to get very hot, it could end up being flammable. Also, it being a liquid makes the battery itself a lot heavier, which can do things such as impact the price of the battery itself, therefore impacting the price of the vehicle. There's definitely a lot of other flaws, I'm sure, when it comes to lithium ion batteries, but those alone definitely impact the safety and the efficiency of the batteries and the applications that they're being used for, in this case, in this video, electric vehicle batteries. And those actually target 2 of the 3 different concerns that I felt like people, including myself, may have when it comes to buying a vehicle, being safety and efficiency, or in this case, being a long-range vehicle. We can go ahead and add that 3rd one in there, which is just the cost of the vehicle, it being a low cost, but we'll cover that in just a little bit. Now in comes a new company, Solid Power, which yet again I feel like can solve these 3 issues and can quote-unquote save the electric vehicle industry in the future. Now, Solid Power is a company that manufactures and designs batteries for vehicles, but instead of making them lithium-ion batteries, they make them solid-state batteries. Now, the difference between the 2 is pretty straightforward. Like I said, with batteries, there's an electrolyte barrier in the middle. With lithium-ion batteries, it's a liquid. However, with solid-state batteries, it's a solid. So that solid also acts as a barrier to prevent a battery from being shorted, which is basically where the anode and the cathode, or the positive and negative side, interact, which probably happens with every battery, but this is something that their website just highlighted, so I might as well just bring it up. Solid Power also uses different types of materials for their solid-state batteries in comparison to most lithium-ion batteries, and because of that, their solid-state batteries are expected to be a lot lighter than lithium-ion batteries. They're expected to go through a lot more cycles of being used and being recharged, up to 5 times more than lithium-ion batteries, and they actually have 2.5 times the energy density of a lithium-ion battery. I had to look that up, by the way, just to double check, but the energy density is basically just the amount of density within a battery per some type of unit. Now, because of all that, or specifically because of the fact that it's a solid electrolyte rather than a liquid, you rid of the idea of the battery being unstable due to extreme temperatures, including high temperatures, which can make it flammable, which is also something that you rid of. And because of the fact that it has more of an energy density than the lithium-ion battery, that allows the battery to be charged a lot faster. For example, they're calculating their batteries can be charged from 0 to 80% in 15 minutes, which will be amazing because I've charged an electric vehicle before, and it can take a long time. and it can also result in the vehicle being more long range, which is really important. Now, after researching and reading all this information that I'm presenting to you guys, this felt like a company that I definitely wanted to invest into, that I could definitely feel like it's a long-term investment. But because you're putting your own money into it and I'm putting my own money into this company, even though I know it's money that I'm willing to lose, I still want to get the other side of the story and make sure how perfect or how realistic this situation is. So with that being said, there is one thing that I'm actually keeping in mind with Solid Power and their solid state batteries, and that's the price of manufacturing. So I'm pretty sure that manufacturing solid state batteries is going to be really expensive, especially for applications as big as electric vehicles, because if I understand correctly, right now solid state batteries are more so popular in smaller applications like smartwatches. So that's going to take a while, but one thing that I have to keep in mind, and if you guys are interested in this company, also have to keep in mind, is it's pretty much the same situation that lithium ion had when it started out. As a matter of fact, there was a chart I found that shows that charging an electric vehicle is still a lot more expensive than fueling a car that runs on diesel or some type of gas over the past couple of years. But that chart also shows that within the next couple of years, that should get a lot easier and a lot cheaper. And because of the fact that people believe that charging electric vehicles should end up being the same price or even cheaper within the years to come, when you think about a company like Solid Power that uses a lighter material and uses the same manufacturing process as they would making a lithium ion battery, you would imagine that eventually making a solid state battery, something that's safer and more efficient, would also be a lot cheaper. And because of it being a lot cheaper and the fact of other things of it being a lot lighter, that would make electric vehicles ultimately a lot cheaper, because the battery itself, when it comes to production, tends to be the most expensive part. So thinking about all that, this helped me conclude that this is definitely a great company that I would want to invest in the long run, and that's why I invested a whopping total of 1 share, because I only invest X amount of dollars per week. But I invested shortly after the reverse merger because I wanted to see how the price adjusts. Plus, I haven't had the best experience with SPACs, at least in the immediate aftermath of it. So that's why I'm more so a long-term holder. But I am really excited about what Solid Power can do, especially with EVs being a big thing. And I do think that, as dramatic as it sounds, that they could essentially save electric vehicles when it comes to those 3 problems we're talking about, especially in the long term. And you can think more about electric vehicles aside from the fact that they're cool looking cars with really dope tech. But it would be really cool if you could use solid state batteries in cars with so much tech that they could be utilized in this whole metaverse. Kind of like this car. This is another video I've made pretty recently, so make sure you check it out. This car has a lot going on with it. But I appreciate you guys watching, and until next time, take care.